Crypto.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of The Rational Investor. This is Julian, and it is July 11th, and I yet again do not have a camera. Why don't I have a camera? Well, the reason is because I ordered a power adapter for my monitor from China, and it's taking forever. And I am only using my main computer monitor, my laptop monitor. And until I get the new power adapter for my main monitor, I can't really use the camera. Like normally I put the camera in between, but I would have to put the camera to the left. I can't seem to get it to work above the laptop. And it's just, so I'm just like, it's not a big deal. Anyway, so how about that rug pull? You're seeing my screen right here, huh? Look at this. Look at this rejection on Bitcoin. We'll talk about the stock market in a minute, but look at this. Massive rug pull, and I shorted it right up here. Basically right up here. And you know what? I'm still 100x short with my $100. I did close half of it right down here just before the start of the show. Why did I do that? Because I don't want to be distracted by it, since it's in very good profits now. And I just thought, okay, let me take at least half off. And I have a completely free position, more than free, actually. Nice profits. So yeah, there was that. Okay, wait 1 second. I forgot to put the air conditioner on. I think I'm going to get super sweaty without that. All right, air conditioner is on. I've got the chat pulled up. I see 8 people in there. What do you guys want to talk about first? I'm gonna do the news. I'll talk about a couple little things with liquidity. But do you guys want to primarily talk about stocks, or you want to talk about crypto? They're kind of interrelated here, but I want to know which one you guys want to focus on today. We only got like 35 minutes. Look at this liquidity. I posted about this multiple times, about the major divergence between crypto prices and the S&P. So this reversal shouldn't be a huge surprise to anybody. Also, you can see reverse repo. No real change there, actually. Pretty flat. Seems like this is like the flat amount. There's not going to be any more injections really from the reverse repo facility, unless this is like emergency funding that they're keeping. There's always that chance. So everyone knows about CPI, right? You know, you all saw on Twitter. CPI came in 3%, a little bit 0.1% below expectations. But I think these numbers were leaked, as I posted in the Discord. I think the market knew, and that's why you had, like, if we look at Bitcoin on like a 1 hour chart, that's why you had just all day basically today. And I guess if you're in the US, while you were sleeping all night, the market just slowly ground up. And I bet this stopped out tons of people. Tons and tons of shorts got destroyed here. If we look at the liquidation chart, we can look at I love looking at the liquidation chart. Let's look at right here. This is one of my favorite games to play. Looking at the liquidation chart. Look at all the liquidations. 30-minute. Yeah. Actually, there weren't that many. Look at how many were on the short. Look at how many were on the long side that got liquidated in this dump. 2.3, 2.4, huge amounts. A lot of people wanted to be long. So market makers made a lot here by taking price up and then just dumping it really hard. I think people got really excited on this move up and just got destroyed on the way down. Let's go back to my chart. All right. So you can see I have this parallel channel that I drew, and Bitcoin has been respecting this parallel channel since basically the beginning of June, mid-June. So about a month now. And it continues to respect the channel, and it was rejected from there. And there's potential either, and there's a reason I took profits, 50% profits right down here, because two things can happen now. Either we roll over and we head to new lows all the way down to potentially 51K, or we bounce and we break out higher. Those are basically your two scenarios. This is the deciding point right here. If we break down, we're going to quickly head down to my midpoint. head in, roll around in here, maybe pump up, and then we'll head down here and maybe lower and something like that. So that's what could happen if we break down from here. Price has to break down from this area. And again, you can see it's already bouncing. So glad I took profits on my short because this would be a major support area on the lower time frames. See how it came in, took out the lows, only one, basically everything. It went lower than everything except this one little wick. Probably stopped a lot of people out. If we go back to the liquidation area, let's look at the liquidations. Let's look at like on a 1 minute chart, right? So who got liquidated? Yeah, so you see how they had a massive amount of liquidations here. So this is your big liquidation right here. And then here at the lower price point, you basically got a, can I draw on this? I don't think I can draw lines. I wish I could. That would help. You essentially get a divergence in the amount of liquidations compared to the price. And that's when things kind of bounce. So if you want to trade things on a lower time frame, a great indicator to use is the liquidations. And you just watch, when do I start to get a divergence in the liquidations? And you have to look for a bigger divergence. You can't look for small ones. Like these are small compared to here. You want to see do some kind of step down, and also here this kind of step down, and then you get a bounce. But they're brief. You have to keep in mind the bigger trend, things like that. So makes sense. We're bouncing a bit here. They've liquidated lots of people, and now they need to liquidate shorts a little bit. Again, glad I took my profits. All right, so let's, since nobody's saying anything about what you guys want to talk about, I'm just gonna go to the S&P, talk about the S&P first, and then I'll talk about NVIDIA, maybe one or two other stocks. We'll look at the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000, I believe, broke out. We'll look at Tesla, and then I think we'll look at Bitcoin. And in the after party, we'll go through altcoins. I think there's a lot to say about altcoins here. Okay, S&P. Let's go to a weekly chart. You guys know I like to start with weekly charts. Actually a monthly. Let's go to a monthly. So the monthly, you have an 8. TD8 on the monthly. That's a big deal. You can see when the monthlies do come in. Sometimes we roll over right here and right here, but other times we didn't in the past. But in 2021 and 2023, we did roll over. They did have significance. So that's one warning sign. Weekly, we also have a 9. But no real divergence or breakdown yet. You can see there's really not any kind of divergence here between price and RSI. They're both, RSI is still higher than here. 3 day. You can see on every single time frame you've got 8, 7, 8, 9. Every time frame. But we are still in an uptrend according to my RSI. However, price is running into, this was apparently the 1.618 extension level. That is my understanding. A lot of people have been talking about that. The 1.618 extension level from, let me reverse this. Where was that 1.618 extension level from that people keep talking about? Just bear with me, guys. Okay, so there's that 1.618 extension level. I probably should have figured this out before I went on there. All right, well, whatever. Let me just go to a monthly chart. We look at basically this range. This was the big range. All right, so there's your, that's basically your range. And 4.669 points to 5,800. Now the highest it could go to, if we take the low and the high, would be 7,000, which just seems crazy. But I guess 5,600 also seemed crazy. The more conservative would be 5,800. Let's actually see where things line up. So normally it helps to look at where the 1.618 lined up and the 2.618. So these are the two zones where it lined up. And then my 4.669, that's a better area. Let me see here. I want it to like perfectly. Yeah, that's pretty good. 6,500 looks like the potential top out zone here. That this market could go to. I could see, we do need a pullback. I could see us pulling back to right here to 5,200 area, tagging the 2.618, and then we get that final run up to 6,500. That's really what I could see happening. I think that would make sense. Trying to see if we can go back and see if there's other monthly charts where we kind of ranged and then moved higher. This was also a range, right? Oh, why is my computer? What's happening here? My computer is like freezing a bit. Like that. Yeah, so you can see here 4.669 tag. Look at that. And then 8.77 tag up here. Where's 16.88? 7,200. That's just mind-blowing to me. I have a hard time believing that. Let's see. All right, so let me just make sure I have this the way it should be. 2.618 and 4.669 was there. Okay, so there's your mid-range there. We could look at another one here. That doesn't really seem to line up to anything. You could take the low and the high. Let's see. Here's our 1.618 line up. There's your 2.618. 4.669 is too high. So that one doesn't really work. There's not really any big ranges for like months on end that I can. Maybe we go to a 2-week chart. I'm just trying to see, to show you guys in real time how this works. And if there's some, validity to it. And I believe there is. So here's on like a 2-week chart, right? Right there. And right there. Yeah, and then that kind of lines up with my previous target of 5,500, which I've talked about multiple times. All right, so there was our weekly, basically our weekly W range, and that gave us that 5,500 level. I think that's the cleanest, but if we go to these higher time frames, yeah, I'm not going to make that call. I think this was the zone to hit. I'm just trying to figure out where that 1.618 extension is that everyone was talking about. Why they thought that this area was a pause. Because I saw it posted in the TRI chat, and I also saw it posted on Twitter multiple times by different people that I follow. All right, I'll figure it out later and I'll post it in the Discord. I don't want to waste too much time on that. But that's what I'm thinking here, this kind of scenario basically, where we get our pullback. We do have this trend line to contend with, and I get rid of this because this is also going to be cause for potentially confusion. But I was trying to see if there was a road to kind of 6,500. There is a road to 6,000. If this was our 4.669 tag at 5,200, the next 8.77 is right here. And you could make a case for this being a range right here. This. And that's kind of your range. Just like that. Got rejected. 1.618, 2.618. And then 4.669 was here. and we got rejected from that. So that could also be considered another range. Let me go down to a 12-hour and get rid of some of this stuff, and let's get back to basically what I expect to happen. So no, I can't get too bearish until we break down from this trend line. That's number one. But in the short term, I do think this was a major reversal point, and we could pull back all the way down to here and take out these lows all the way down to 5,400 area. I think it would be a decent area to do that. You can see a major drop on the 1 hour time frame. Like, this is extremely bearish. When you see something like this, normally it keeps going. There should have been a bounce by now if it wasn't going to continue. So I would be careful buying here. I would wait until we at least get down to this trend line and then consider it. But as long as this uptrend that with the 12 on the 12-hour chart is intact on RSI, I don't see any major issues here. This is just a pullback. NVIDIA looks a lot worse. It really looks like an M top here, and I could see us rolling over to fill this gap here right at $100. I mean, that's a BFRN, and we could even squeeze down into this area, which is my RLZ reload zone, between $90 and $82. I think that would be a nice area to maybe get long again. That'll probably match up with the S&P sitting at the trend line that I showed you guys right here and right here, which is matches with the 50-day moving average. Actually, 50-day would be here. So 50-day moving average is here, 20 is here. But really the one I want to pay attention to, which doesn't matter the time frame, is my trend heuristic channel. As long as price is above this, then we're basically in an uptrend still. You can see we broke through it here, and this is where I thought we could have rolled over, and RSI was not looking great, but we W'd out and we moved higher. This is actually a very clean W right here, and I believe I've talked about and drawn this one multiple times. Yeah, 5,500 tag, and the next one is basically 6,000, 8.77. That's what I'm seeing for the S&P. NVIDIA, that's what I'm seeing for NVIDIA. I wanted to touch on Tesla. So Tesla had this massive move up. I talked about the Optimus robot multiple times. We had the breakout. Now I would like to see us fill this gap. I want to see the whole market roll over, and I want to see Tesla fill this gap, and then I'm going to look to get long. I think Tesla can have a significant, it can move significantly higher, especially if it breaks out from this W here, this major W. I talked about this last week. This would be the right there, this huge W, right? So if Tesla breaks out from this W, price could head all the way up to here, $600 to $700 a share, which is a, if you can get it at around 200, that's a 3x. So that's what I'm looking at with Tesla on on a daily chart. We have gaps right down here, right? So 213, stuff like that. I would like to see this filled over the next few days when the rest of the market pulls back. I think that's going to be a major opportunity, and I'm going to be buying. So I'm actually going to set an alert just to make sure I don't miss this like I did the first time. So easy to get distracted with stuff. Yeah, okay, create alert. Yeah, I want that. Oops. Yeah, so that's Tesla. Very bullish on it, and that is because of the Optimus robot. As I have talked to you guys about, I don't think Tesla's going to be just a car factory anymore. I think it's going to really transform into a robot factory, and that's where a significant amount of its revenue is going to come from. Basically, robots and AI that become like an AI company. Okay, so that's Tesla. Boeing is one I keep an eye on, and Boeing is looking very interesting down here. Very interesting. We are either going to break out higher or roll over and shit the bed. Oh, there you go. Not looking amazing right here on the 3-day chart. Daily chart is kind of just chilling. If it can W out and break above this level, we can head way higher. But if it can and it rolls over, we're heading down here to the 100s, 120 area. So mixed bag on Boeing. I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens. I think you might get a pullback, and then if the rest of the market pushes higher, maybe Boeing follows along. I said I would talk about the Russell. So let's touch on the Russell. Russell's kind of not been participating as much in this rally. It did have a major consolidation period here in this zone. And I would say that this was its 1.618 tag right here. And there's potential for it to head all the way up here, increase by 50%. So look for, I think it would be a good idea in this pullback to look for names that are in the Russell, but not necessarily in the S&P 500. Because I bet a lot of those names are beaten down and potentially good buys right now and could break out and move up, 50 to 100%. I think major names like NVIDIA and stuff like that, they're going to lag in the coming weeks. And, it's normally the lower, like think about the blue chips like NVIDIA, all the tech darlings, those are like Bitcoin. And then next you have like the blue chip coins like Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Solana, those kind of coins that move after Bitcoin. That's like the Russell 2000 stuff. And then after that, you get like the shit coins, which are like the random stock names you never heard of, the penny stocks that'll take off. That's like memes in crypto. So I think we're going to see that kind of rotation as the market reaches its topping point. And that's the pattern I'm kind of looking to see play out. I've looked at a couple stocks that look decent. Like Neo has just been sitting down here. I know I think it's a Chinese company, so I know Brian hates it. But I looked at this on the weekly chart, right, like this, and it broke out, and it looks like it's trying to kind of form a bit of a W here, which could provide a nice catalyst for price to head way, way, way higher, all the way up to about $13 a share. So that's a nice 150% move. I mean, this is your risk reward, right? So right, there's your stop, and there's your target right up here. 5-to-1 risk reward, 170% return. I could raise it a little bit higher, actually. Right there, 178%, and you could even put your stop right there. And then you've got a 6-to-1 risk reward ratio trade. That's one that I'm looking at. Another one is RIOT, which is not looking as good now. Actually, it was looking good before on a weekly chart, because if you just do this, right, it's on the other side of the trend line. It's been consolidating for quite a while, and it looked like it could at least bounce. Yeah, so price is kind of doing nothing, right? But RSI looked like it was putting in a bit of a divergence, and this would be your W here. You get your move higher, right? Like that. And then you get your move up to 14. Not nearly as nice as Neo, but I thought it was decent looking. I don't even know. This one is in the Nasdaq. But really, I think it would be beneficial to go through names in the Russell 2000 and kind of see what is beaten down and what could in the next few weeks take off. So that's something I would look at if you have time, because I think you'll find some gems, some real gems there. Okay, so that's kind of the stock market. Normally I talk about metals, but I'm going to skip that this time. I'm going to look at just the dollar, and then we'll talk about crypto. So dollar really fell off here. Kind of surprised by that. But at the same time, not, because if CPI is decreasing further, that means there's an increased chance they're going to lower rates, and that's going to hurt the dollar. The dollar being badly wounded here. Yeah, there's that breakdown on a daily chart. If this confirms, this could be major M top for the dollar, and we could see a big pullback. You know, weeklies. This could be a serious M right here. Also looking like McDonald's. So that will be bullish for things like metals. in crypto, and basically anything that's not valued in dollars, as you guys know. So be careful with dollars. Okay, so there's that. Let's look at crypto. We've got like 10 minutes left. Let's look at crypto quickly, and then we'll call it a day and we'll go to the after party. All right, weekly chart. Bitcoin still kind of looks like it looks like crap, honestly. It's not great. We M'd out. Let me clean up this chart actually. Wait. Let me here. Okay. Get rid of. Okay. All right, there. I go back. I also want to get rid of this. All right, better. This is just some alerts for me. So this does not look good on a weekly, right? If price breaks down much further from here, it's potentially Goblin Town all the way down to 45,000. I don't see anything to hold and keep this from not declining further, which is why I think it could coincide with a stock market decline. This is just straight disaster on a weekly chart. It really doesn't look good. I don't see anything that makes me want to be bullish here. Now a daily, on the other hand, is a little bit better. Oops, I don't want to get rid of that, because that has a 16.88 and 32.99 up here. Maybe I just do something like this to get rid of some of these lines. Okay, it's better. There. Also get rid of this, and now it's a little bit cleaner. Yeah, so the daily is just sitting down here, right? When you have a weekly that's as bearish as it is, and a daily that's just sitting down here, things can move down further than you expect, and there can be shenanigans. And that's what we're seeing here. This price action today and yesterday was essentially what I would call shenanigans, where they're trying their best to the market makers are trying their best to trick you, in this case to be bullish, so you go long, and then you get liquidated. And you can see, based on our liquidation numbers, the long liquidations compared to the short liquidations compared to the long liquidations, their master plan is working, because a lot more people trying to long are getting liquidated than people trying to short. Look at this. There's not that many people trying to short that are getting liquidated. It's pretty spaced out, but the people that were long that got liquidated seems like a significant amount more. There's a reason for that, and that's because of this type of price action and people's want to be bullish. People simply prefer when price goes up. So you can see how even here, fake out an RSI, which could still recover and move higher. But on something like a 4-hour, this doesn't look great unless we recover very quickly here. All right, so as of right now, that is a breakdown. Oops, let me adjust this. Yeah, it's a breakdown right there. Actually, I want to make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, like that. And everything's red. There's nothing green here that makes me want to be bullish. I think Bitcoin is in a downtrending range, and that's not going to change until it breaks out of the range. That's kind of all there is, really. I would have liked to have seen it make a clean break below this and move lower. It looks like it's trying to hang in there. If I draw it like that, it looks better. So if I draw it kind of like that, it looks like it did break down, but that's ignoring this wick. Yeah, so there's 4-hour. This is what I prefer to look at, where it looks like price has basically broken down. but it really didn't. It would have needed to have closed down here in the 56,000 area, and they saved it. So now the question is, are we going back into bull mode? Was that just a liquidation run, or do we have more down to go? I would think that we have more down to go. I don't see this with the stock market looking as bad as it is. I don't see this just being over unless the US dollar crashes like tomorrow. I mean, if that happens, then maybe it was all a farce. And they tricked me along with everyone else. But if that's not the case, and it doesn't essentially crash tomorrow, then this Bitcoin bear case should play out further. I don't see a reason why price should break out and head way higher right now. I just don't see it. I think we need more time. I think we need to liquidate more longs, and then we can consider heading higher. That's what it looks like to me. Now, of course, I can be wrong, and we could just, in the next 8 hours, push up, push through here, and then that's where I'm going to change, and I would say, okay, bull, go up. It's bull mode now. But until that happens, I'm leaning bearish. Everything on my RSI indicator in the bottom right is saying bear. So I can't get super bullish until I see a breakout above here, and I see some form of green on time frames like the daily for RSI. That's what I'm thinking. Price action in the next, like on the 15-minute chart, I think that this is simply a little bit of a rebound. Stop out some shorts, late shorts, before we eventually head lower. But I think it's highly dependent on what's going on that S&P. I think the Bitcoin is now mirroring the S&P, so you can see S&P is bouncing, and Bitcoin is also bouncing. And I think altcoins are also mirroring Bitcoin. So you can see how Rune is bouncing, and see if we go to a 50-minute here. Solana bounced a bit and then just continued rolling over. Looks super bearish, super duper duper bearish. If I draw a 4-hour right like this, you can see the major breakdown here. You know, I will be very surprised if they save it here without sending it lower. I could see it heading lower down to this reload zone area, 132, 130, and potentially even lower to just stop a lot of people out. Adam, BLDP, and Baba. Yes, so Rocky, I will do those in the after party. We're at about 32 minutes. I just wanted to review Bitcoin. I think I will take a quick look at the total, although I think Bitcoin kind of satisfies what we need to look at. But the total is basically the same as Bitcoin. You can see that the total's been flirting with its 200-day moving average. As long as we're below this 200-day moving average and the trend heuristic, I just can't get super bullish on this crypto market. I can't. This could have a whole nother leg down. We're tagging this 38.2. We're trying to form a bottom, but we could wick all the way down to here. Just keep that in mind, that is a very real possibility, and the bottom's potentially not in yet. You could have another 20%. You could go move to the downside another 20% before a potential bottom. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop it there. Hopefully that was helpful. I will take like a 5-minute break, and then we're gonna do the after party, and I will look into whatever altcoins you want. For Rocky in particular, I'm gonna look at Adam, BLDP, Baba. We'll look at some of the meme names, maybe Pepe, Cap, Dog with Hat, whatever, the whiff thing. I will talk about, we'll look at Solana in a little bit more detail. We'll look at maybe some other random coins, some of the influencer coins that I always talk about from Alex Becker, for example, see where they're at. And that's about it. If you are a current TRI member, I will see you there. If you're not, consider joining. Free trial, blah, blah, blah. And I'll see you guys over there in like 5 minutes. All right. Bye, everybody.